Hi and welcome back. Today I'm going to be using this railroad spike to forge a very simple form of draw knife. Normally when I'm doing something like this, I would just cut off the head and, not worry about the bother of forging it back into the bar. But in this case, I think I'm going to need every inch of this to make it work. So I have to start by carefully forging the head so that I don't get any cold shuts that are going to cause me problems later. I'm going to need to set up my anvil ruler so that I can easily check that I'm doing the same thing to both sides of the blade. This draw knife is going to be made all out of one piece, so here I'm just using a pair of dividers to help me visualize how much material I'm going to have on each side for the handles. The part in the middle, of course, is going to be the blade, and it's not going to grow much in length. So once I have that dimension, whatever's left over, whether I like it or not, is what I have for the handles. Also, you'll notice that I'm setting my dividers in a little bit on the one side of the bar, and that's because it's already hammered into a chisel point. So I'm kind of estimating where that point is going to wind up when I hammer it back into the bar. So on the blunt end of the bar, I'm going to be setting up my offsets exactly where I laid them out with my dividers. And on the pointed end of the bar, I'm going to move the first offset over about 3/8 of an inch or so, just to give me that little bit of extra room to hammer that point back into the bar. So in other words, once I hammer the point back into the bar, if the offsets are right, I should wind up with the same amount of material on both sides. Here I'm cutting the slot that I need for the hole at the chisel end of the bar. You'll notice that, again, the hole is set back from the edge, and that's to give me the room that I need to hammer that point back into the bar, and hopefully at the end of it all wind up with a nice even hoop. That's roughly the same size and shape as the other side. And of course, I repeat the same process for the other side of the bar. Here I'm starting to shape the rings that I'm going to be using as the handles for this draw knife. I apologize, I seem to have lost the clip for the first heat of this ring, but I'm working on the side of the bar that had the chisel point. I'm starting with this side of the bar because if I didn't estimate enough material at this point, I'm going to wind up with a thin spot here that I'm not going to be able to fix. So if that winds up being the case, then I haven't lost too much time. So it's actually better to overestimate here than underestimate, because if you have too much material, you can thin it down and work it into the circle somewhere. But if you have a thin spot, there really isn't anything you can do at this point. Here I'm a little further along and I'm just finishing up the shaping for the other handle. Now that I've done the final shaping to the draw knife, I'm going to be using the cross peen to draw out the blade to its final width. And of course a draw knife isn't any good if it doesn't cut. So here I'm working on a piece of hard maple. I've done the heat treating and I've only done a really rough grind on this. So these are the shavings that I'm getting without any honing whatsoever. I wanted this draw knife mainly to do some rough shaping on hammer handles and file handles, things of that nature. So I'm not going to go nuts doing a lot of final finishing on this. It's going to stay pretty much as forged. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Hi, I'm Dennis, and thanks for watching. If you have any questions, you can contact me by using the email address that I have shown here. If you like the channel and the work that I'm doing, please consider becoming a patron. Every dollar you contribute will bring me one step closer to being able to produce videos full-time.